gonna start,
Okay, I'm muting
Marvin.
myself now.
All right, you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Let's Talk Tara. I know I don't usually come on Monday nights, but this is a special Let's Talk Tara. Is Meet the Coaches. So before we get started, go ahead and share this live video because this live video is going to be life changing. It's going to be informational. It's going to help you. It's going to bring understanding. It's going to bring enlightenment. And we're going to just talk and share. So go ahead and like and share this video with as many friends. If you need to do a watch party, go ahead and do it. This is going to be really, really great. I am Tara T. Stallings, and this is Let's Talk Tara, Meet the Coaches. So the reason we're on here tonight, this afternoon, is because there is so much controversy around coaches, life coaches, counseling, consultants, and a lot of times people don't know who do I need to see, where do I need to go. So with that being said, I said, you know what? Let's talk about Meet the Coaches. I have the pleasure, the opportunity to partner and collaborate with some fantastic coaches, consultants, expert in the business. Um, a lot of you know I just got a physical place, Destiny Life Management Group, a physical office, but I've been life coaching for over 11 years. I've been counseling for over 4 years, and I've combined counseling and coaching together. Um, I have, I love what I do, and I love collaborating with like-minded people, and I've done that, and I love to do that. So tonight we're going to jump right into it. We are going to talk to some experts in the business, um in the coaching service, in the coaching business, why they do what they do, who's their ideal client, and what who needs coaching. So many people say, well, why would I need coaching? Why would I need counseling? Why would I need a consultant? Well, we're going to tell you, we're going to answer all those whys tonight. Because now, if you notice, there are a lot of different types of counselors, there's a lot of different types of coachings, there's a lot of different types of consultants. So tonight we have a few on, and we are going to talk to them, and they're going to share their expertise. They're going to share with you about their business and their ideal client. So we're going to jump right into it. Tonight we have none other, and I know if you guys follow him, you will see that we have none other than Michael James, with the 3D vitamin of the day. Michael James with the 3D vitamin of today. And I love his videos. I love his energy. And I'm glad that he is a part of a collaboration with the coaches that I work with. So Michael, tell us
Yes.
a little bit about yourself and your motivation for wanting to help individuals.
Awesome. Thank you, Tara, for this opportunity. And so what really keeps me going is my purpose is simply to help people discover their purpose. And I love to teach and share insights and principles that help people maximize their potential. Tara, I grew up as a PK kid. You know what they say about preacher's kid? We're often the worst. But as early on, I discovered that I was really good with music, played the keyboard, drums, discovered that I was called to preach around the age of actually the 11th grade. And I've always just loved people. I've always loved contributing. For fun, I just love to play basketball. I love to travel. I love to shop. That's some of my recreational things that I love to do. But my message in life is that people can realize their true potential and that they can live a life of fulfillment. And so that's sort of where I coined the term vitamin of the day. Initially, I was learning about my health and how we have a shortage in our diet between what we should be eating and what we actually eat. And the distance between what we should eat and what we actually eat, That's the purpose of vitamins. They're to help you supplement the gap. So I said, it's one thing to sort of start eating differently, eating plant-based nutrients to fill nutritional gaps. But what about emotional gaps? What about inspirational gaps? What about motivational gaps? So that's when I started to just put out a little nugget every day on social media. And then I began to coin it vitamin of the day. And so I just believe that all of us, we need to be filled nutritionally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And that's where the 3D value comes in. So I've kind of made that my mission statement now, Tara, that or my vision statement, that I envision myself adding 3D value to everyone that I meet.
Oh,
And
that's awesome, Michael. That is awesome. So share with our viewers your ideal client and how. I know you said you are a purpose coach, and the
yes,
motivation for being a coach. So share with our audience who is your ideal client and why.
that's an excellent question. And I like that you're providing this platform because the term coaching really speaks to helping someone get unstuck. And so, for instance, a person who is not resolved or has not resolved maybe past issues in their life, if we liken your life to a car, Tara, sometimes people spend more time looking in the rearview mirror and they're looking at their past. And that's a person who would benefit more so from counseling. But for a person who's healed from their past, they're in the moment, they're aware that in front of that windshield, there's a bright future for them, Tara, but sometimes they just don't know how to get there. And I know that many coaches on this call, we've all had the experience of driving in our cars and we look in our side view mirrors and we think it's clear to get in the left lane. And as we begin to do that, out of nowhere, here comes a motorcycle or another vehicle. And that's called your blind spot. And so the idea of coaching is to help a person discover those blind spots where they're stuck. And in my case, I've made my niche helping people discover their purpose because oftentimes, Tara, some people are not even aware that they have a purpose. So there's a lack of fulfillment in their life. Perhaps they are going through the routines of I get up, I go to work, I get my check, I expend the money, and then I go back. And after a while, if you don't have a sense of purpose, just mere job, just more education, just having money to spend, it doesn't feel that inner longing on the inside of us that the creator put there. And so as a purpose coach, my goal is to help people realize a way to live a more fulfilling life. And sometimes that can happen by helping them discover their unique gifting. Not everybody's 9 to 5 is their calling. It's not their assignment. It's not, it doesn't, our 9 to 5 job description is not always compatible with what the creator put inside of us to do. And when you are working outside of your strength zone, it can drain you. And one of the signs of being in your calling and in your assignment is the thing that you're doing, it energizes you. And so I know what it's like to expend your wheels and spend your energy and feel drained. But I also know what it's like to get up in the morning and say, you know what, this is what I was born to do. And I know for a fact that when I'm helping people discover the motorcycle they didn't see, perhaps it could be a lot of reasons why we don't see those motorcycles. Sometimes heartbreak, unforgiveness, something just as simple as that could keep us from maximizing our potential. And so that's what I'm called to do. I help people discover their unique gifting and their purpose. And in doing that, I help them get unstuck so that they can maximize their potential. So that's my ideal client. I'd also say this, Tara, a client that would not be for me is someone who is complacent and is not desiring any more out of life. And so sometimes you meet people who say, "Oh, I'm good. I got a job. I make enough money, and everything's fine." Uh, so that would not be the ideal client. But someone who says, "You know what? I haven't done a bad job. I've made some progress, but I know I'm meant for more. How do I get to the next step?" That's where I come in.
Yeah, that's awesome, Michael. That is awesome. I love, what I love about you is I love the genuineness in your motivation. You can hear it in your tone, you see it in your body language, and that is key when helping people. Because one thing I found, and I noticed with people can know they notice when you're not genuine, and when you talk, when you relate to people, it's coming from a genuine place. It's coming from a genuine place of purpose, of passion, of who you are and how you want to help them get to their next level of success.
Wow. I really
So
appreciate you affirming that.
I know we're gonna get back to it. I know we're gonna get back to you, but just in case, because I know we're on a time limit with you. I know because you stay busy. Let our viewers know how they can reach you.
Thank you for keeping me on track here. So on Facebook, our viewing audience, you can simply type in 3D value. On Instagram, it's at MJ adds 3D value. And got a website, coachmikej.com. And that'll be fresh, rolling out January 2021. But on Facebook, 3D value, Instagram, MJ adds 3D value. And there,
Okay,
if you
and
want to
make
email,
guys, I'll make sure I put everybody's handle on the feed. Yes,
okay. And then my
I'll make sure I
email
put
is,
everybody's handle on the feed. And if
oh,
go ahead,
yes, and
I'm
my
sorry.
email is my 3D purpose coach at gmail.com.
One more time with that.
My 3D purpose coach at gmail.com.
Okay. Thank you so much, Michael. I think we
Thank
have
you.
like a few seconds delay. So, and next up, we have a health and nutritional coach. Get Fit with Jackie. I know you guys, if you follow me, I'm on some of her events with her. She is a great person, just generally, just a great person, a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of information. um Jackie Dennis, she is awesome. I love her. I love her. I love you. Now you talk about genuine and real and passionate. That's Jackie. So Jackie, tell us about yourself. Tell us about yourself and your motivation for helping individuals. Unmute yourself. Yeah.
First of all, excuse me for that. First of all, I would like thank
Mm-hmm.
you for this opportunity to be able to present on this platform, and thank you for just hearing the voice of God and listening and choosing. Because I always believe, our steps are ordered. So whatever God provide for, call for, He's going to provide for it. I thank you for that totally, for that. But my passion began with my experience. I have always been, I've been in nutrition and fitness for over 30 years. Um, didn't really have, been into something and just really not know what it was for, but it was always my experience that brought forth my passion, going through what I went through. And Michael was talking about some, genuine. You said about people being real. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. And so when you have experienced something, you have been through something, you can be more compassionate and sympathetic with others as they go through. So your sometimes your pain and your experience is not for you, it's for others. And so my passion began when I began to have personal experience, and I wanted to help people live more healthy, to inspire people to live more healthy and active lifestyle. I've been in personal training for over 30 years. I've been doing fitness alone. I partner with my husband as well, Coach Patrick, and we are the co-host of Help Matters on Shout WAW Shout 94.7 FM every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. So you can always catch us there. So Mike, I will be calling you for my lineup of 2021. So yes, I mean, I just love people genuinely. I like to see people well. A lot of people say, healthy, but I like to use the word well, because well encompasses the whole person. It encompasses the mental, the emotion. And I got frustrated as being a wellness director, and working in the field. And I was like that, Mike. I was at 95 in the medical field, good at what I do because the grace is on my life to do it. But I wasn't happy in what I was doing. So I was getting stressed, I was getting frustrated, and I knew God had more for me. So God began to speak into my heart, and everything that I was doing, it was all about just coaching. And God showed me, He said, you are a coach. And because I would get frustrated seeing people come in the gym making New Year resolutions and just over and over and over and over, but never resolve what's really going on at the root. And that's what I found out. That's what I really found out. Man, I am there to help people to find the solution, to get unstuck, to get on this path of this journey of locating behaviors that trigger unhealthy habits, to get to the bottom line of it, and live fulfilling and healthy and live well, be well, live well. And that's what I want to do. And nothing brings me more joy than to see people get it. And I'm the founder of Women Owning Wellness, finding your fit and owning your wellness, finding what works for you. Fitness is a competitive industry. If you don't know who you are, you really, really get caught up in being competitive and not, working well with one another. And so I found that in this industry, went through that, but I had to find my fit. I had to find out what works for me. And I asked God, where do I fit in this? Where do I fit in this industry? And God began to show me that through my experiences. So going through these experiences helped me to help others. And so people are struggling. My ideal audience is people that are willing. They are desired. They want to change. There's a desire there to change. Because if the desire is not there, you're not going to be able to help them or coach them. In my intense lifestyle
Mhm.
training several years ago with Valerie Burton, she said some people are going to be uncoachable. You're just not going to be able to coach them. So some people are uncoachable, but you have to understand when to pull back. You have to learn when you're working with people, when to refer out. You have to stay within your scope of practice. And I learned that very well in the field of fitness and dealing with. And I realized it was the whole package, mental, emotional, because I tell people all the time, you can be physically fit, but if you're mentally unfit and emotionally unfit, nothing else is going to come together. God created us as a whole person, and we need to operate as a whole person. And people don't know that. And so that's why they make goals. Their lifestyle is not conducive to their well-being. What they're doing right now, what is working for you right now? That's the first thing I ask them. What is your why? What is working for you right now? Because if you can't answer that why, most likely the goals that you set for January 2021, you're going to end up falling back, or you're going to end up getting stuck and not really, really fulfilling the purpose that you're supposed to be doing, and not really meeting your goals. And I'm finding a lot of people keep setting these same goals. Well, those goals that you made in your 20s and 30s ain't working for you in your 40s and your 50s. You got to change these goals up. It's good to have short-term goals. It's good to have long-term goals. But if you 50 and 60 going through menopause, baby, them goals has changed. The body is changing. Things are changing. So those behaviors and this stuff is not conducive to your health and well-being. So what is working for you right now that is working for you? If it ain't working for you, then you need to look at resetting some goals, looking at resetting your why. Your why. Once you find out your why, then you set your goals according to what your why is, because that is what's going to sustain you. And I like what Tara said in one of my sessions, a sustainable why, something that's going to stick. And I always say, coach the behaviors. Don't worry about the results, because we on this journey to we got to look at these behaviors. And so many times we go through without coaching the behaviors. I coach the behaviors. So when we bring this until let them recognize, okay, wow, I didn't understand that. Some people need to be made aware of their behaviors. We all have behaviors that we're not aware of. But when we are made aware of them, we tend to be more cautious about them, and we tend to do something about them. So if I have someone that just not desire, if the desire is not there, it's just not gonna work. So you already gonna know firsthand who is coachable or who wanting coaching. Coaching has always been set to be for the elite or the rich. No, we all can use coaching. The coaches need coaching. All of us need coaching. And so I didn't realize that. My job is to listen and help you come to, not to always talk, but to listen, to help you come to the solution. Because if I keep doing it for you, you'll never get it. I have to allow you to come to this solution that, hey, I need help. And your reason behind it shouldn't be a short-term reason, even though you have short-term goals, but it should be for lifestyle, decrease blood pressure, prevent diabetes, hypertension. That is very, very high in our African American community. My husband and I are Emory University Prevent 2 lifestyle coaches. We're credentialized. There's only 2 in Augusta. We are the second one. CDC, we're credentialized on the CDC. So if you go on global, you will find us here globally that we teach these classes, Become a Healthier You, free for the community. And we have so many people that won't come out for this because they rather take the medication versus making the lifestyle changes because it's easier for them. There's no
Share that
accountability.
again, Jackie.
They rather
Share that
take,
again. Your certification for I want you to share your certification again. It kind of cut out a little bit, and I'm glad you hit on that because I wanted you to hit on that. Your certifications for the diabetes and hypertension. Could you share that a little bit more for our
yeah,
clients?
yes.
For
So
our
my, like,
audience.
yes, you were breaking up a little bit, so I'm gonna try to see if I understood you. Where we are certified for diabetes, hypertension. We teach the regular diabetes management, hypertension, as well as prevent. And prevent came along several years ago to try to prevent type 2 diabetes because that's a lifestyle. Type 1 is developed when you're real, real young or something you're born with, a hereditary. So we come in on the community and so many times, and we've been doing this for over about 6 years with the classes, but so many times our African American community reject the knowledge. What the word says, my people are destroyed of a lack of knowledge, and because they what
That's
they
right.
reject the knowledge. So we
Mm-hmm,
can't push things on people, we can't force it on them. We all, only thing we can do is just provide the knowledge, the wisdom, the tools, the tips, and the resources. You can take the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. And we have to
mm-hmm.
learn that we have to know our target audience, and we have to know, even Jesus knew when to move on. So we have to know
So,
when to just move on. It
thank
is
you
what
so
it
much.
is. It's
Yeah,
real.
thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing, Jackie. Make sure, and we're gonna come back to you, but share with our listeners how they can reach you, on social media, telephone, radio, how they can reach you.
All right. So you can reach me at getfitwithjackie.net. You can follow me on Get Fit with Jackie Fitness on Facebook and like my page. We air our Help Matters show every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, as well as womenowningwellness.com. You can follow us on that as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jackie, for sharing that information. Y'all, I love when you said, the person you were when you were 25 and is not the person that you are at 50. And I learned that from you. I learned that from you. And I never forget my body was changing with menopause and having a hysterectomy. And I was like, Jackie, and I can't, because I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2002. I cannot take any synthetic hormones. And you gave me that wealth of knowledge about dealing with hot flashes and just building muscle mass. And it changed my life. It changed my life. So, you guys, if you are looking for nutrition and health information, and what Jackie said, she coaches the behavior, because if you change the behavior, everything else will fall into place. So next we have Dr. Ronald Garnett. A lot of you guys have seen Ron and I do our Let's Talk Solution show on Sunday. He is a business financial coach and consultant. He has a wealth. When I tell you, you guys, Ron is quiet when he wants to be because he gives me a hard time. But he has a wealth. When I say a wealth of knowledge when it comes to business, business funding, business finances, Ron is startups, anything business, Ron is the person to see. So, Ron, I'm going to let you have the floor. What is your motivation behind helping individuals from the business perspective?
Okay,
Unmute your
thank
phone,
you,
Ron.
Tara, for having this opportunity. Um, well, I have unmuted. Can you hear me?
Okay, okay. It's just a little delay.
Well, okay. Well, all right. Well, how I started out was I was teaching a class at a nonprofit for people writing business plans. The plan was that you'll write a business plan and there'll be funding for you once the business plan was completed because we were writing complete business plans that were the SBA ready to get you any type of funding necessary. Well, I taught my first class. I was on my second class when the first class came back in and said, the program isn't working, where are we getting money? So I said, let's go to a bank. So I made a class assignment for that class to say, go out and try and get funding for your business. Everybody came back and said, we're not qualified. So at that point, I started working with my students to try and find out where do you go to get funding once a bank tells you no. And basically, I work with clients who cannot get bank funding. And over the years, I have developed resources so that any type of funding you need, I will link you up with a source that specializes in your particular niche as far as funding if you can't get it from a bank, which is about 89% of the people who go to a bank for business funding. I try and educate people to look for the type of funding that's appropriate for them. Uh, Generally, people say I'm a small business, I want small business funding, but they don't know what a small business is. A small business, according to the SBA, is a business that has 500 to 1,000 employees and has about $2 million in that's you. If it's you by yourself or you and a partner, you are either a solopreneur or a micro enterprise. What you need to understand is I help with funding in basically micro enterprises, which gives funding from approximately uh, $10,000 to $400,000 an individual. As far as a business, it can go from 150 up to the millions of dollars. Depends on the source. What I want to get out to understand is that there are many funding for a type of business in the alternative finance market, which everybody knows about it, but they don't understand it. Alternative finance simply means the money is not insured by the government, by the FDIC. Venture capitalists, angel investors, uh, examples, institutional investors are examples of alternative funding that have been going on for thousands of years and has trillions of dollars in the marketplace. We just need to know how to tap into that particular market to get the funding. Basically, uh, my motive is to get people educated to know that there is money out there for you if you want to do a business. If you want to start a business, there is a source of funding for you. You have to be able to locate the proper source for your business. And I'm a broker, which means I have relationships with many different funding companies. And when someone comes in and says, well, where do I get the money? I said, I first have to talk to you to find out what your financial needs, and then we will talk about what's the best place to go to get you the funding. So it's to educate people and to help people's dreams come true. I used to tell my students we were teaching at a building across from Laney High School Stadium. And I said, you know, you can fill that stadium, take a little rubber ball, hit somebody across the head, and ask them what type of business do you want to start. I'll tell you, but they don't have the money or the training for it and don't want to pay the price. So I try and get people to understand that I can get them the money, but I also try to the extra step into giving them some training close down in 3 or 4 or 5 years because you are not using the money correctly or being wasteful with the money and the plan ahead. We always encourage people to use sources so they can get business plans, have a business plan, have a financial plan to be successful. I'm successful. That is, my motivation because I started this business trying to help students who had spent, 8 weeks comprehensive business plans and had nowhere to. And now, if someone has a plan, someone has the desire and passion, they do have a place to go and they can get the money. Uh, what I'm planning on doing in January is have a free Zoom class. I'm going to limit it to maybe 20 to 30 students on for business. Uh, I think it's on my. You could go to my Facebook page under Ronald Garnett and sign up for 20 to 30 students. It's going to be on a Wednesday from 6 to maybe 6:30, and I'll be explaining where you can go to get to have somebody or a fund.
You kind of cut out, Ron. I can't hear you. I can't. I don't know what happened. I can't hear you. Okay, Ron kind of went out. I think we had some technical difficulties with him. Hopefully, he'll be back on in just a few moments. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. We thank Ron for that information. It's live, so it's technology, and we have to deal with what we deal with when it happens. So next we have Melody. Wait a minute. Let me see. I got it back. Ron back on. Hold on a second. I don't see him yet. Hold on. We have Melody Manning. A lot of you guys already know who Melody is from Talk
Yes.
Therapy on Tuesday nights. She is a friend. I don't have many friends. My close friends always tell me that I have two and a possible. and and I can truly say Melody is a friend. She's a good person. She's a dynamic coach. She's a teacher. She's an educator. She's a researcher, which I love that about her. And we're gonna have her up next. She is also a life coach. So besides an entrepreneur, so I'm gonna let her have the floor for a few minutes and just share. Melody, what's your motivation behind helping individuals?
Hi, everybody. Well, let's start this way. My motivation came from my personal life experiences of kind of being caught in a cycle and not getting anywhere, just doing a bunch of stuff, but not getting anywhere. So that is my motivation for coaching. So many times people want to make a change, but they don't actually want to put the work in to make the change. We like to do the create part. What I call the create part is we are motivated by something that may have happened in our lives, and then we'll say, oh, that didn't work, and we run and we go get the journals and we get a bunch of affirmations and stuff, and we on this long track of, okay, I'm gonna make this change. And that's what I call the create part. But we want to skip the cleanup part. And the cleanup part is, and excuse my language, is, and I can't think of any other way to say this sometimes because I had to say it to myself, is you got to own your own shit first. And you've got to realize, where you are and what you've done and what the actual root of the problem is before you can move to the create part of it. So before you can get to the affirmations and the journals and the vision boards and all that, you've got to own who you are, what your mess is, what are the beliefs that you have learned. Take the time to do the unlearning so that you can learn the new habits so that you can succeed. So what I like to do is to guide female clients into realizing no matter what life has thrown at you, no matter where you may find yourself at this point, maybe it's a high or a low or in between, own what you need to own. Let's devise a plan so that you can move on to the next level. And again, it has to start with the cleanup. We can't get to the create, the vision boards again, the affirmations, the journals, the 5-day devotionals. We can't get to all of that until we deal with the cleanup. So my ideal client would be the person that says, okay, I'm ready to clean up. I know I got some stuff I need to clean up. I need to put the work in, but where do I start? So that's where my client would be. We'll sit down, talk about it, and come up with a plan that'll work for them, because everybody's not the same. We'll devise a plan that works for that individual so they can move to the next level.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, you cut. Look, that's one thing I love about Melly. She's gonna cut straight to the chase, straight to the chase, and that's in this day and time. And thank you for sharing that, Melody. Let me say that this day and time, we need. I believe. Let me say that because everybody has their own way of learning, receiving information, and gathering information and holding information, and just understanding how you deliver it, how the person learns, matches you up with the right consultant, with the right coach, with the right counselor. A lot of times for me myself, I share that I'm a counseling coach. Now I do life coaching, confidence coaching, but I'm a counseling coach. And what that is, I deal with those issues of the past when people trying to find out who they are, but then I also deal with them where they are today so that they
Mhm.
can know where they want to go tomorrow. And a lot of what I heard all you guys said, all four of you guys, that's really what you deal with. You deal with your practice encompasses where that person is being, where they're trying to go, what's their goals, what's their why, dealing with those things that has hindered them and that's hindering them and that will hinder them in the future. And that's just awesome information. It's awesome to hear that. It's awesome to listen to individuals, coaches, consultants that understand their purpose, their ideal client, and where they are trying, where they are, what the journey that they're on for success in their respective field and with their individual clients. Now, I want to kind of shift the conversation a little bit because for our clients, for our listeners, we are all African American, male and female, and most of we have brought up in the church. That's just brought up in the church, and for so long, not all, but a lot of African American religious leaders or organizations have had a negative taste about coaches. Now, there are a lot of, fake, uneducated, people that's out here that say they're coaches that took a little quick little course and just leading people to hell and to astray. Let me say that. Let me just throw that out there. But that's just in any profession. Any profession, you have people that are experts that know what they're doing and know who they are and that are helping people. But then in any, just like any other profession, you have those people that they're quacks. They are just quacks and they don't know what they're doing. But as it relates to African Americans, we know ourselves, whether it could be the doctor, it could be a counselor, it could be a coach. We don't want to go get help. We don't want to go get help. And a lot of years when the coaching profession first got on the scene, from the religious viewpoint standpoint, it was kind of like, no, don't go see a coach. You just need to come to the church. You need to pray more. And yeah, you need to go to church and you need to pray more, but you may need a coach or you may need a counselor. So you have, and then just naturally without the church, let me just say this, let's leaving the church out of it, we have been taught, and whenever I say this, every Black person I know can finish the paragraph, to finish the sentence. What goes on in this house stays in this house. So we have been taught not to disclose our emotions, our behaviors, our thoughts to anyone, just to take it to God in prayer, have faith, and God's gonna change it. Well, we know just from experience, most people don't know how to pray. They're not taking to God in prayer, and it's not changing. You need to go get some help, whether it's from a counselor, a professional counselor, or from a coach, or someone that's trained, that has expertise in the area that you are lacking in or you need help in. So, and I'm going to start with Michael again. Um, what do you see, because you are a PK kid? What do you see, especially surrounding coaches within the church sector and just the African American culture, is hindering to turn that light bulb on with us to say, hey, it's okay to go get coaching. It's okay to go get counsel, whether it's marriage, couples, confidence, purpose, nutritional health, business. What do you see needs to change in our community?
Great question. I think what you're doing right now today is the beginning. There's a scripture that says, at the entrance of my word comes light. So if I was appealing to pastors today who are listening, or leaders within the church community, I would actually point them to examples in scripture where we see the coaching mindset being introduced. Actually, the first transgression, when Adam and Eve ate of that forbidden fruit, it's so interesting that the first way God interacts with them is through a question. And that's often what we do as coaches. We ask powerful questions that get people thinking. We don't really believe that the process is us telling people what to do. It's more so we're giving them a chance to think inwardly and out loud. And so God asked Adam, where are you? And so what I would do to appeal to those who have an affinity for scripture, I would show them within the scripture how God uses the mindset or the psychology of coaching. It's all woven throughout the scripture. A man laying by the pool of Bethesda for 38 years. Jesus doesn't just pick him up and take him where he needs to go. He says, do you want to be made whole? And so I think the first step, Tara, is doing more platforms like this where we give people the knowledge, the information, the understanding about what we do, and realize that God works through multiple avenues. And I think psychologically, the church, we have tried to streamline God to one avenue. It's just a pastor, and we've not developed the kind of culture that helps us as African Americans believe that God can be in multiple different ways. And so it's one body, one Lord, but there's so many manifestations of God's Spirit, and coaching and counseling is definitely one of the avenues that we can still see and experience healing.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm so glad you brought that up and you used those examples, because with me, and I was sharing that with someone else, because I consider myself, because I have a counseling background, and when I was trained and certified in coaching, I was trained from a counseling background. So when I went into learning my counseling field, what I was teaching, I said, the theoretical approaches. I said, well, cognitive behavior therapy, rational emotive behavior therapies, those a lot of those approaches are biblical approaches. And I said, well, I've been doing this already with my clients. Now, mind you, my coaching is a Christian life coach. So it was all biblical based. And then, of course, I went to a biblical school for counseling, but it's all biblical. And what we don't understand is, God is the educator. He is the ultimate teacher. He is the one that gives wisdom. Wisdom doesn't come from the north. It doesn't come from the east. It doesn't come from the south. It comes from God. And when we can get that understanding that the wisdom that people possess, the knowledge, the counsel that people possess, even if they went and got it academically, they got this from God. He puts people in place so that they can help his people get to their next place in life, their next wealthy place, whether it's emotionally, whether it's financially, whether it's career wise, whether it's in relationships, whatever it is, that he is the orchestrator of that. I
Amen.
think we lost Ron again. Let me see if I can get him back on. Okay.
Why keep losing me?
That's a powerful question.
I don't know, Ron.
Yeah,
We keep.
I don't know. Or give her problems.
I like it.
Ron, we are live.
That's
Don't
it.
give me problems today. So
That's what you said
I
before.
love that. Oh goodness. So yeah, so Jackie, same question with you. I know you are not just like Michael, he is not just a confident purpose coach, he is also in the ministry. Jackie, and you are the same. So what do you think again needs to change as it relates to our culture? Because I know with myself, the majority of my clients, like I said, I've been coaching for over 11 years, and the majority of my clients that I've had over the years are not African Americans. They were not African Americans. They were mainly Caucasian or Hispanic.
Well, just like Mike said and you said, I think it's so much people got to realize God is a practical God, and He put people in places. He give us gifts and talents to be, to help other people. He does. But I think we grow up to, like you said, Tara, pray about it, go to God and pray about it. And that's what you do. You get guidance and understanding and help from the Holy Spirit. We see that through the Bible. But God also sent a person to help. If you go back, he always send a person. And I think so many times as Christian, when it comes to, from my experience, they come to help, they feel like they're not in faith. If they're not, they go and get, coaching or help. But that's not meaning you're acting in faith because you go and getting help. So that doesn't mean you're not in faith because I went to a mental health specialist to get some help. I'm still believing in God that this is going to work. So when I think if we get an understanding about it, you know, where people can get more of an understanding that God is a practical God, and look in your word, and God tells us He's been talking about this. He is the master coach. He is the master teacher. And He talks about Romans 12, be ye transformed of what? The renewal of your mind. If you want to get in more in depth in that, He talk about the culture and the
That's good.
environment we in. So it go into in depth into the scriptures, and He really make this thing. I wish above that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul. Your soul is your mind, your intellect, your imagination, all of that. So it's talking about transforming our mind. That's what, and He sent people along our path no different than Moses and Aaron when he took over, and Joshua, and these, everybody, they had coaches, they had mentor. And I think if we bring understanding, revelation and understanding to people, that you're not being out of faith, if you're not being out of faith and not trusting God for your healing, for your deliverance, just because you're getting help. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And
I
that is
agree with
so
you
true. I mean,
100%. 100%. I can, yes.
yeah, that's my experience, and but we have to keep on doing what we're doing, and God will, He bring the people. From my experience, He bring the people across our path that need to hear what we need to say. I ask God all the time, who is my audience? You have to know your audience. Everybody is not going to be your audience. I love what Melanie said about, clean up. I have a quote is saying, you can't get the product unless you go through the process. You have to go through the process. You have to go through, get unstuck on that journey. If do you feel like you've been stuck on a journey and you've been going through these cycles, you may need a health coach in one of these areas: finance, health and wellness, fitness. You may need a health coach. You may have set goals, still setting goals that would use in your 20s, and you may need to change them and look at these goals and kind of, get more serious about your health, invest in your health. So that's it. Get a better understanding of why, eating for purpose and not just for pleasure. That's my motive. And hey, God knows my
Yeah.
audience, and so He send the people.
I want to.
You, we're getting
I
cut off.
thank you for. I want to switch. I want to
I
switch.
can't.
Switch gears. Yeah, I think the signal was a little off here a little bit. Yeah, I want to switch gears because I want I always ask the hard questions, the difficult questions, the questions that that make people think. And as it relates to counseling, as it relates to coaching, as it relates to people, individuals bettering themselves, what I've noticed, they don't want to pay the price, whether it's financially or sacrifice.
Hmm.
I have so many clients or potential clients that will reach out, and let me just throw this in before I get started. I think I was talking to Mel the other day about it. Also, my first business profession is a cosmetologist, and I had to learn a long time ago when it comes to services, people to want you to give them what they need, and they don't want to pay for what they need, but what they want they'll pay for.
Hmm.
And those things that they want, use the time, is not those things that they need. So as it relates to bettering themselves, especially, and I'm going to say this because I see it in the African American community, as it relates to services that's going to help them emotionally, that's going to help them financially, that's going to help them spiritually, or relationship wise, they don't want to pay for them. They
Mm.
want you to give them that service, but they will go out and pay for some Louis Vuittons. They will go out and pay for an expensive car and finance it, and it's not helping them. They will go out and pay for some cigars or some expensive alcohol or some gator shoes, and I'm just using those examples, but they will not invest in themselves financially or sacrificially to better themselves. They would rather complain about where they are or where they want to go, and they don't want to pay for it unless they're pushed to the point of, I have to get some help or I have to change. And it's almost like it's life threatening before
Mm.
they will move to change. Ron, what do you say about that?
Okay, well, I have to agree with you. Well, especially when dealing with people who are in the African American community, because culturally we've been told to go to school, find a job, work the job, make enough money, and retire. Now that dynamic doesn't work anymore because people who have worked for a company 20, 25 years have been laid off, have had pensions disappear on them. Generally, we have not been taught or pushed to start our own businesses. Now, what I do is I primarily work with people who want to start their own businesses. And if you want to start your own business, you talk about sacrifice, that's sacrifice. Because as I tell my clients is that when you start your own business, it's like having a baby. And you got to feed that baby. And as you're making money or trying to make money, you have to put the money back into the business. And when people see you as an entrepreneur, somebody who's working for yourself, everyone comes to you and says, I need this, I need money. You got to help me this, help me that way. And I always tell them, your business is your baby. If you got to feed your child and your cousin wants some money to buy a new pair of Nikes or needs to go on a trip, are you going to give them the money to baby starve? The answer is no. It's the same mentality you got to have with your business. You have to be laser focused. You got to make sacrifices. One thing I tell all my clients to guard against when you start a business, don't try and act like a big shot or a business man. You don't have to dress in a suit every day or a different one every day. You don't have to have the biggest car, the finest watch. And while you're spending money on the outward types of glamorous things, you let the foundation go. You got to bake the cake first and put the icing on later. And you have to understand it's a long haul. You're talking about if you're going to start a business, you might be talking 18 to 24 months to break even, not making any money, just to break even. So you have to have a long range approach. Now, what we do in our is we try and encourage people to know how much money is needed because generally you off by 2/3. By that means if you think you need $10,000, you need $30,000 because you have to understand you're going to have a dip and you have to be what's the basis, such as how you're going to survive when nobody comes through the door. And you also have to carry yourself in a certain way. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, okay, get fit by Jackie. We've had conversations about what I need to do, about my stuff. Talk to her about me and my problems. But if Jackie was walking around looking sloppy all the time and fat and out of shape, how's she gonna teach me how to be, fit? In the same way, you got to carry yourself because an entrepreneur or a business owner or a counselor, somebody, you are asking somebody, give me money and I will give you a service in return. So if you're an entrepreneur, you can't be drunk all the time. You can't be on drugs. You can't be out doing, partying all the time because people are not going to trust you with their money. So you are your company. You have to make that sacrifice, so to speak, to be what people expect you to be. You have to be what you do. People think just like you do. Would you go to a dentist and got no teeth? No. If you got somebody who's crazy or walking around with all kind of problems, you go to them as a counselor. No, you want somebody who at least has some modicum of stability. And for the African American community, one thing I've run across and is that we have been told, due to my language, that if the white man said it, so that's the way it's got to be. So if a white person tells you you can't get the money for this business, you can't get the money for this, you can't get money for that, that's the end of it. What we tell people is not at the beginning. Then I would tell you, no, let me find you what you need, the money you need to get you to where you want to go. Because we don't sell a product. What we do is we find a product that meets your needs. And and I'm a score mentor, okay? And I was kind of surprised when I started meeting other people in score. I think at one time there were like maybe one or two score mentors who were African American. That was me and somebody else. Is that white companies have been using alternative finance forever. They knew about, well, the bank don't can't fund me. There's someone else over here I can get money from to run my business. And they use it all the time. We're the ones who get stuck with saying, I got to go to the bank, but the bank generally does not fund micro enterprises. And that's what you are, a solopreneur. So asking for,
Well, I think we lost. I think Ron's about to go out again.
hello,
He's okay. I can hear him.
right sources, right sources. And what we do is we find you the sources to get you the money to get you to where you want to go. But as African American people or black people, I would say black people, whatever, is that we have not been taught or encouraged to look beyond what's right in front of us. We go to the big bank and there you go and you get and leave. Well, you even qualify. You walk in the door, you ask for something the bank doesn't even offer. So you have to know what source to go to. And uh, one thing is coming out again with with the government stimulus package. A lot of people are going to be out of business by the time that money becomes available for your business. I believe the statistics show that maybe 41% of all black businesses went under as the result of the shutdown with the COVID-19. Now we're trying to get back up, but if you go under, you think a bank's going to come in and give you some money to get back on your feet? No, that's not happening. You're going to have to look for other resources. And it's going to be slim pickings out there. We're going to try and help you find it. And you have to understand, I'm also as a score counselor, that black, white, red, yellow, whatever, when you start a business, you're not going to get the best funding, whatever. I've done a lot of school webinars, some of the people have said who are score counselors and business owners said, I had to take some really bad loans to get my business off the ground. And I had to sacrifice to get it off the ground. A lot of black people will say, I want the money, but I wanted the rate that the bank gives me. But the bank already told you no. So you have to understand the concept of sacrifice and the concept of what's a reasonable interest rate, reasonable rates to pay it back, and very important, how to pay it back early with no penalty. That's very important with a loan. And understand why people will fall into traps. And we try and help people avoid those traps now, because I had a person recently who wanted to get a loan, could not get one because they went to a company and they ran their credit 7 times, destroyed their credit score. So nothing they could do. So it's an unregulated industry. That's the good part. The bad part is unregulated, means that people out there are going to take advantage of you. So you have to know what you're doing. We try and guide you through that process. That's why I started doing this. I know I got kicked out, but I was starting a free Zoom, I think once a month, on funding 101 for business. Take about 20, 30 people, give them the fundamentals. I tentatively have a underwriter who will come in and tell you what funds are looking for, so you can get qualified and you can get money. I'm kind of a practical person. This is what you need to do to get this amount of
So
money.
what I'm hearing you say, Ron, it's all about sacrifice. It's all about being able to sacrifice for the things that will help you get to the next level in your life, whether it's business, finance, emotional, whatever. Melody,
It,
with you, and I want you to have your time to share. What do you see has been some difficulties when working with clients as it relates to especially African American clients wanting to pay for services?
Well, as a certified mental health coach, one of the things I do know, it doesn't cost anything to complain. It costs nothing to sit somewhere and complain. It doesn't cost you anything financially. It doesn't cost you to have to do anything because you're not putting any effort for. So it doesn't cost you anything to complain. So some people can fall into that complaining mode very easily simply because they have not decided that they want to make a change. Now, as you were talking about mental health as it relates to the church, I feel like the biggest thing we need to do is, because essentially we always hear it in church, is that the church is a hospital. So if the church is a hospital, we need to know and be educated enough how to effectively treat each patient that comes in the door. Meaning that we need to start educating within the churches individually, starting with the pastors, making them aware of, hey, you got people here that you can send people to. Maybe the deacon's not answering them or able to help them with that. Maybe the elder is not able to help them with that. Maybe sending them to the altar for intercessory prayer is not doing it. They may need something outside of that to work in conjunction with that. So educating them within the ministries that, hey, there are trained professionals that are willing to work along with you, not above you, but along with you, and make it more prevalent and educate their congregations on the mental health. But I think we have to start with the top first to let them know that, hey, we're not here to replace
Kind of
you. We're not here to take away what you're teaching. We're here to complement it because you do want wellness within your congregation altogether. So the main thing is educating within the ministries.
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
can,
I mean, you guys
I,
have
can I,
shared. You want to say something, Ron?
yes, what I want to say is that, well, I don't deal with the spiritual aspect so much of the But I think in the African American community, we are reluctant to say we need help, and especially from people who are in your profession who are trained counselors and things, because we don't want to admit we need help. We don't want to admit we have problems, uh, and there's a stigma to it. We should remove that stigma that we need help. And I have found, especially in your field, in my field, I know it's in my field, you have people who don't know what they're talking about give advice. So, um, and in Jackie's field too, I recall somebody saying that those celebrities who were doing the videos 15, 20 years ago were doing them all wrong. They hurt more people than they helped. So they weren't trained in what they were doing. So, just because somebody says they know something doesn't mean they know something. Just because somebody says, I think you can do this, I think you can do that, we should all look at credentials. And if somebody says, well, this is the way you should do something, well, I've got some pretty bad advice from people who said they knew stuff and didn't know what they were talking about. And I listened to them and went down some really bad holes because, and now you need to trust your common sense and talk to people who do have training in what they're trying to tell you and can stand behind and will work with you. Not just give you some off the hip advice. As Tara told me one time, she was saying that a lot of people bring their own issues into counseling. And so you got your own issues, and issues too, to be dealing with when you're trying to do something. And I know people in my field, the financial field, I have lost a lot of some clients to people, to somebody who says, I know this rich Arab person from the Middle East who wants to give you all these hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just give me $5,000 or $10,000. I go over and meet with them. I'll hook you up with them, and you'll have all this money as a gift of no interest rate. I've never met that person yet. I met the results of that where people out $5,000, $10,000, but I never met the rich Arab person yet. But it's always there. So, and one more thing I'm going to say is that a lot of black people fall into get rich quick schemes. It is building a business is not a get rich quick thing. The average self-made millionaire has gone bankrupt 4.5 times. Then they finally make their money after about 20 years of sacrifice and work. And they basically live in a fairly modest lifestyle. So they're frugal with the money, but they are trying, but they also get advice though too. The millionaires I know get advice from, you know, attorneys, accountants, business advisors. They also take care of themselves, the mental health. I know people who are millionaires who do see counseling, who do have talk to people about their mental well-being so they can deal with stresses of life. So they may not tell you about it because it's confidential, but I have met them and I know them who says that I have to have some help to get through this all the time. So I just want to get all of you have different levels of expertise. So do I. But with the counseling aspect, please see somebody who knows what they're talking about, who knows what they're doing, and can really help you rather than your cousin who knows everything and has every answer every problem.
Thank you
I
so
just want
much,
to add
Ron.
that.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We're gonna wrap it up. We've been on about an hour and 15 minutes. I want to thank you all for taking your time out, for coming on, talking about your expertise, who you are, sharing with our listening viewers, who you are, your passion, and just talking about the lifestyle and the profession of coaches for counselors consultants and counselors. And so that again, I want to give you this last wrap up. Let our viewers know how they can reach you. And I want you guys to go and like and share, follow them on all their social media platforms. And of course, if you, I'm going to put the link in the bottom of my or my page so you can reach them. And if you can't reach them there, of course, you can call us at Destiny Life Management, and we can connect you with the right coach there. Michael, 30 seconds. Tell us how to get in contact with you and your closing words.
Awesome. My Gmail, my 3D purpose coach at gmail.com. Facebook, 3D value. Instagram, MJ adds 3D value. And my closing words, there is a divine design inside of you. It's not your decision, but it is your discovery. And when you discover it, you'll come alive in ways you never imagined.
Thank you so much. Coach Jackie.
Hi, Coach Jackie. You can get in touch with me at getfitwithjackie.net, or you can follow me on Facebook on Get Fit with Jackie Fitness on Facebook, as well as womenowningwellness.com. Remember, you want to become the best you, to be the best you that you can be. Call me and you can get your coaching on. Now, but seriously, if you're interested in really, really feeling better, living well, making healthier choices, give me a call.
Thank you. Thank you. Coach Melody with Inspired by Melody.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that, y'all. My email is inspiredbymelody@gmail.com. Facebook is Inspired by Melody. Instagram is Inspired by Melody. My website is inspiredbymelody.org. Um, all my platforms are Inspired by Melody, and Clubhouse Inspired by Mel on there. I just want to leave this and say this, that if you are ready to activate, manifest, transform, revive, evaluate, and move into another direction, contact me. I'll be more than happy to sit down and we can work. I can work with you as you come up with a plan that you can get to where you want to be.
Thank you, Melody. Ron, Dr. Ron Garnett.
Okay, you can reach me at my email at ron at garnett and associates, that's spelled AND.com. That's my email. You go to my website, it's garnettandassociates.com. My telephone number is 706-513-4703. But last thing I want to say is it's been a very inspiring hour and a half. And don't be afraid to ask for help. There is help out there. I could get you the money.
Look, Ron is just having problems with with that technology today. Thank you guys. I am Tara T. Stallings. I thank you for joining us. You can find me on all my social media platforms at Let's Talk Tara. That's IG, that's Facebook, on Clubhouse. Coach Tara Talks. That's Coach Tara Talks. Or you can find me. You can email me. The website is DestinyLifeMG.com. If you can't find the coaches there, you can come to Destiny Life Management and we can get you to the right coach. Listen, I want to leave you with this. It's time to dominate in your life. It's time to dominate in your life. It's time to stop sitting on the field watching everybody else live the life that you want to live. Look, let's deal with the issues, and it's time to dominate. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you like and share and share and like. And listen, if you need help, don't wait to 2021. Start today. Reach out for your health, for your purpose, for your mental health, for relationships. Reach out for your finances. Reach out today. And I'll put everybody social media handle in the feed. Thank you guys for showing up.
Tara,
Thank you. think Ron, look,
Tara, and
Ron
one more
just
thing I
popped back
wanted to,
on. One more
yes,
thing.
Tara, come up. I wanted to say
Yes.
one thing. It just hit my, just,
Yes.
it's time to take authority over our health. It's time to take and see. When I used to say eat for purpose and not so much for pleasure, people, kind of didn't receive that. But look what we at now. Look what we in now, this pandemic we in now. Look where we at. Look where we at. Yes, medicine have its place, but we're at a time we do have to trust God with our health. We have to trust him, but we still got to do the practical things and do. We
Mm-hmm.
have God give us responsibility to take care of ourselves, but he give us the responsibility. Is our responsibility, but it's his ability. I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say it. That was on my heart.
Yes. Thank you so much. Okay, you guys. Thank you so much. Look, this technology is acting up, so I want to go ahead on and end this. But make sure you guys like and share and like. And we will look. This is not going to be the last time you hear from Meet the Coaches. We're going to be on again. Thank you so much for participating, coaches, and thank you guys for viewing today. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.